myself, and tie fans. I'm Clint. Tie-Tie's not here, but I will use the channel to advance my thoughts on something. So, if you don't know, we like to review beers, we like to review movies, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Unbelievably, in fact. So my whole family are huge Star Wars fans as well. And my little brother sent me something that I felt like I want to talk about. I absolutely adore the original trilogy. I find that the prequels are fantastic. They're not. There's a lot of flaws, but some of their ideas, and if you go back and watch them now, they're fantastic. I mean, they haven't. I would say they actually have aged better than, let's say, when I was in my early 20s. I wasn't a big fan, but now I love them. I'll go back and watch Revenge of the Sith at least 2 or 3 times a year. So, love them. Put it there. Of course, the original trilogy is just, I mean, it's fantastic. I could talk to you all day about the original trilogy, but today, my brother sent me this link, and I've been waiting to upload it. I'm a very busy guy, and I haven't been able to talk about it. But I want to read it to you guys, and we'll go from there. We'll start with this. I hate the new trilogy. I think it's absolutely terrible. I like things about it. Kylo Ren is fantastic. Adam Driver playing the role. He's the best part of the whole thing. I loved the idea of Snoke, where he could possibly go as a character, but obviously he went nowhere. I was so excited to see old Luke. You know, what happened there? They made kind of a joke out of him, if you ask me. So there was a lot there. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Rey. I thought her character could have been great, but you know, a lot of people say that Mary Sue thing, which I hate to say it, but I agree too. You know, the one thing I will say, there's spoilers here if you haven't seen the whole new trilogy. It's funny because when I first saw Rey, one of the first things I thought, right off the bat, I was like, she's going to have a yellow lightsaber. She had a yellow lightsaber. And then, you know, she made it out of her staff. That was cool. Trying to think of the best parts about it before I get into whatever he just sent me. Yeah, Kylo Ren was awesome. His lightsaber was cool. I thought there should have been a little more to do with the, you know, the side handle stuff. They should have explained, like, maybe he didn't know how to make a lightsaber that well. He wasn't that trained, so had to release the crystal somehow on the sides, let it vent type thing. I thought that would have been cool. Or maybe like a broken, I mean, they never addressed anything. Like, why was his lightsaber flickering? Like, nothing came of that. I could get into that. I'll leave a comment if you want. We can talk about that trilogy. I'll talk to you about it. I'll write down some stuff and tell you everything that I do and I don't like about it. But let's get to this. Hello, me, myself, and tie fans. I'm Clint. Tie-Tie's not here, but I will use the channel to advance my thoughts on something. So, if you don't know, we like to review beers, we like to review movies, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Unbelievably, in fact. So my whole family are huge Star Wars fans as well. And my little brother sent me something that I felt like I want to talk about. I absolutely adore the original trilogy. I find that the prequels are fantastic. They're not. There's a lot of flaws, but some of their ideas, and if you go back and watch them now, they're fantastic. I mean, they haven't. I would say they actually have aged better than, let's say, when I was in my early 20s. I wasn't a big fan, but now I love them. I'll go back and watch Revenge of the Sith at least 2 or 3 times a year. So, love them. Put it there. Of course, the original trilogy is just, I mean, it's fantastic. I could talk to you all day about the original trilogy, but today, my brother sent me this link, and I've been waiting to upload it. I'm a very busy guy, and I haven't been able to talk about it. But I want to read it to you guys, and we'll go from there. We'll start with this. I hate the new trilogy. I think it's absolutely terrible. I like things about it. Kylo Ren is fantastic. Adam Driver playing the role. He's the best part of the whole thing. I loved the idea of Snoke, where he could possibly go as a character, but obviously he went nowhere. I was so excited to see old Luke. You know, what happened there? They made kind of a joke out of him, if you ask me. So there was a lot there. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Rey. I thought her character could have been great. But, you know, a lot of people say that Mary Sue thing, which I hate to say it, but I agree too. You know, the one thing I will say, there's spoilers here if you haven't seen the whole new trilogy. It's funny because when I first saw Rey, one of the first things I thought, right off the bat, I was like, she's going to have a yellow lightsaber. She had a yellow lightsaber. And then, you know, she made it out of her staff. That was cool. Trying to think of the best parts about it before I get into whatever he just sent me. Yeah, Kylo Ren was awesome. His lightsaber was cool. I thought there should have been a little more to do with the, you know, the side handle stuff. They should have explained, like, maybe he didn't know how to make a lightsaber that well. He wasn't that trained, so had to release the crystal somehow on the sides, let it vent type thing. I thought that would have been cool. Or maybe like a broken, I mean, they never addressed anything. Like, why was his lightsaber flickering? Like, nothing came of that. I could get into that. I'll leave a comment if you want. We can talk about that trilogy. I'll talk to you about it. I'll write down some stuff and tell you everything that I do and I don't like about it. But let's get to this. Okay, guys. Yeah, y'all can see me up there? Cool. Okay, so this is coming from Cosmic Book News. Disney resetting Star Wars, erasing Last Jedi. I wonder if I can just switch, like... I'm assuming I can't. Anyway, a new rumor has hit the net offering that some sort of Disney Star Wars reset is in the works that will see Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker basically erased. The rumor comes from the future ruler of Earth, the Doomcock Overlord DVD YouTube channel, who recently offered that a Star Wars Civil War is happening at Lucasfilm between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau. I'll start real quick with that. Kathleen Kennedy, I mean, can anybody defend her at this point? I mean, honestly, like, can anybody? How do you go into, here's one of my biggest questions. How do you go into Star Wars and, like, if not the biggest franchise of all time, you go into this but you have no plan whatsoever? Like, nothing? Anybody? imagine, okay, I'm going to hand you, as a fan, I'm going to say, here you go. Here's Star Wars. It's unbelievable that a multi-billion-dollar franchise, I mean, I think they bought it for $4 billion from George Lucas, and they just said, well, we'll write each one as it comes. And then we're going to get a different director for each one with no plans whatsoever for the next one in succession. Let's just write as we go. Then, not only that, but the guy who made Looper, Rian Johnson, you're literally just going to hand him everything to the franchise and go, here, do what you want with it. It makes no sense. It's like they were trying to screw us over, honestly. Okay, I'm sorry. So, Doomcock also previously provided those Skywalker spoilers. And prior to Marvel Studios announcing a new, I don't care about any of that, Disney Star Wars trilogy getting nullified. In the spirit of the Me, Myself, and Tai show, today I'm going to be drinking Bud Light Lime. I've had it before. Sure, all of you guys had. Tomorrow's the 4th of July, and so I'm off work today. So I'm gonna drink one. Drink one with me. All right. It's claimed the Disney Star Wars trilogy will be erased using a concept that was recently made canon in the Star Wars Rebels animated series. Guys, I'm 39. I haven't really watched Star Wars Rebels. I know about it. I've seen clips of it. Looks pretty cool. It's just hard for me at my age to get into, like, you know, to me that's like more favored towards like younger kids, you know, that kind of cheesy CGI. I don't know. It convinced me to watch it. I'm sure I probably will. My brother-in-law's watched it all and he claims it's amazing. I guess I need to just do it. But anyway, in the Season 4, Episode 13 installment titled A World Between Worlds, the concept of the Veil of the Force was introduced. Okay. A mystical dimension of the Force that connects all time and space, explains Doomcock. If you haven't seen Doomcock's channel, he's the guy with like the mask. And he talks to you like this. And he's got cool little eyes and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I actually really like his channel. I think I'm subscribed to it. Also, Me, Myself, and Tai show. If you're watching this because of Star Wars, click that subscribe button. Like us, man. We're trying to get this going, and you know, this is a new thing for me. So hopefully Tyler doesn't kill me for using our channel for this. Okay, I've received confirmation from 2 additional sources claiming that this is spot on. That indeed Lucasfilm realized that they have a massive problem on their hands. That the Star Wars franchise is all but dead, and despite Kathleen Kennedy's hatred of this idea, screw her, Lucasfilm is preparing to render the sequel trilogy null and void. There's no way this is going to happen. If it does okay. It's said that the events from The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker will be removed from canon, isolated in their own alternate timeline, and regarded as an Elseworlds-like installment under the label of Star Wars Legends. Maybe you guys can tell me. I don't really know what Elseworlds is. Is that a Star Wars side thing? Something like that? Okay. So what Doomcock is explaining is that a Star Wars multiverse will be created which will isolate the Disney Star Wars trilogy as being a part of a separate universe that is not a part of the George Lucas original Star Wars films. I'm getting kind of giddy here. Massive Star Wars reset incoming. Doomcock continues by noting the details can't be verified, but says there may be proof it's happening in The Rise of Skywalker. More on that below. It's further noted that the plans are not set in place, as again, Kathleen Kennedy is said to hate the idea and is said to be doing everything she can to crush it. Why? I mean, look, you jacked up. You had your moment. You did not live up to what they wanted you to do. You could have corrected it. You had the chance with The Last Jedi. Nobody okay, so The Last Jedi, people, you know, you have both sides. You have the people that think it's a masterpiece. You have the fans that think it sucks, and it sucks. You cannot possibly there's so many things wrong with that movie, so many things that I just don't see how you can be a Star Wars fan and I'm gonna make some of you guys hate me. I don't see how it's such a terrible movie. It's so bad. Okay. Doomcock continues by noting the details can't be verified, but says there may be proof it's happening in The Rise of Skywalker. More on that below. It's further noted that the plans are not set in place, as again, Kathleen Kennedy is said to hate the idea and is said to be doing everything she can to crush it. I'm sorry, I just read all that, but as if the plan comes to pass, everything that Kathleen Kennedy did with the sequel trilogy will be destroyed, tossed out, and declared obsolete. Yes. Doomcock feels the plan will happen. A massive reset is going to hit the Star Wars universe, he says. Do you guys know, is this guy, Doomcock, I mean, is he pretty knowledgeable? If you guys want to comment on it. A massive reset is going to hit the Star Wars universe, he says. Details on how Disney Star Wars will get undone. Regarding how they're going to undo the Disney Star Wars sequels that involves the Emperor. Okay, I find this interesting. Emperor Palpatine had a room on the second Death Star called the Room of Mirrors. The mirrors were created by the Emperor prior to the Death Star through the dark side using ancient Sith rituals. Awesome. These mirrors linked to the Veil of the Force serve many purposes using them. Palpatine could manipulate the Force in many ways to further his aims. For example, the use of the mirrors allowed Palpatine to cloud the Jedi Council to conceal himself and his dark apprentices from the Jedi and from Force sensitives that followed their fall. That's a cool idea. I always wondered that, like in the prequels, obviously if this happens, like wouldn't the Jedi have sensed them? I mean, I know there's that scene where he says, that he must have clouded their vision or something like that. But you would think with all those Jedis in the same area as him, like the dark side's not more powerful. Remember that. Yoda says it. Easier, to be seduced by, essentially. So all those Jedis were their whole, they couldn't sense him. I don't know. To me, that's kind of off, but whatever. I still love the prequels. Using the mirrors allowed Palpatine to access the awesome powers of the Veil of the Force. They were indispensable tools that allowed him to rise to the pinnacle of ultimate power. It is this conceit that explains how Palpatine survived Darth Vader throwing him down the shaft in the throne room of the Death Star. In desperation as he fell, wait. Veil of the Force, let me read this again. They were indispensable tools that allowed him to rise to the pinnacle of ultimate power. Using the Veil of the Force is what this is saying. It is this conceit that explains how Palpatine served Darth Vader throwing him down the shaft in the throne room of the Death Star. In desperation as he fell, Palpatine opened a portal to the Veil of the Force and entered it. This explains why Palpatine is in such a damaged state in The Rise of Skywalker, as transporting himself into the Veil without the aid of the mirrors drained him and damaged him severely. So I don't know if you guys ever heard my theory, which I think would be cooler, honestly, than this. I mean, this is just my thing. But to me, it would be cooler if the Emperor that we see in Rise of Skywalker, if that always has been the Emperor. Basically, like, to me, if they would have had, so all those ones that we've seen, all those Palpatines, Chancellor Palpatine, then he becomes the Emperor, blah, blah, blah. To me, those should have all been clones. And the Palpatine that you see on Rise of Skywalker is like an ancient Sith Lord. And he's been the one, like, puppeting all this stuff, like, from Exegol. Like, that's how he did it. To me, that would have been awesome. Like, he's some ancient Sith Lord that's been around for, thousands of years or whatever it is. Like, hundreds, basically. But manipulating all this stuff, that would have been cool. To me, that he survived that fall from Darth Vader kind of undermines Darth Vader, which we're not even going to get started with Rey and all that crap, how she just completely undermined Anakin. Once again, I'll get back to that. Doomcock also goes on to explain that the Emperor created a second set of mirrors on Exegol that allowed him to escape where he plotted the rise of the Empire. Okay, All right, seems kind of far-fetched. Regarding how things will be reset, it's explained that all one has to do is go into the Veil of Mirrors and wait for Palpatine to enter, as the Veil is a mystical dimension wherein all times collide, which will cause the Disney Star Wars trilogy to consign it to its own alternate timeline forever, as Palpatine enters the Veil and never gets back to Exegol. That's cool. So basically, if I'm reading this right, the Exegol timeline, Rey, all that stuff would mean it's obsolete. That never happened. So because he never gets back to Exegol, so the whole Rise of the Force, First Order, all that stuff never happened. That's a cool idea. Okay. The Emperor is prevented from using the mirrors to return. He dies as he was intended to in Return of the Jedi. Oh, so they just kill him off, huh? Okay. And Bob's your uncle, and all our problems are solved, explains Doomcock. I don't know what that means. So since the Emperor never survives, that means the events from Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Skywalker never comes to pass in the George Lucas timeline. Get me too excited. No Disney sequel trilogy. Han doesn't walk stupidly into lights. Ugh. No joke. Stupidly into a lightsaber. Ugh. Leia doesn't fly like Mary, and she's just flying like Mary Poppins through space. Luke has nothing to run away from and consumes no green milk. And I am informed there will be no amazing Wonder Rey, as she was born after the Emperor's death, says Doomcock, who notes the particulars are still getting worked on, but that the plan will retcon the sequel trilogy out of our misery. Yes, thank you. And restore freedom in George Lucas's galaxy. How can you watch these last three and then look at the old ones and all those lessons that were there, like in the originals, they're completely undermined in this. Luke's training, Rey doesn't need, I know I'm saying the obvious, everybody knows this. Luke's training, that one line in stinking Empire Strikes Back, do or do not, there is no try. When Luke's trying to bring the X-Wing out of it and he can't do it, and he kind of mocks Yoda, and Yoda turns around and just pulls it out, no effort whatsoever. He's just, that music's playing, and then Luke walks up to him and he walks up and he goes, I can't believe it. And Yoda turns around and Yoda says, and that is why you fail. We don't get anything like that anymore, The greatest line, honestly, out of the trilogy, out of the new trilogy, if you want to call it that, we'll put it the Disney trilogy. The best line of that is probably, okay, I did really like this one part. Remember when Rey beats, she essentially kills Kylo Ren on this is Rise of Skywalker, and they're out on the ocean, blah blah blah, and or fighting on that planet, which I guess is, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember what planet it is. Is it Endor? No, it's like some moon, wherever that fell to. Help me out if you remember. I'm starting to have some of these, so my brain's not working as well. But when he sees Han, it's the most fantastic scene because it's something very well done, and it's very George Lucas. But Kylo Ren's staring out there, like thinking about everything that's happened, blah blah blah. He's got to be pissed off at this point. He's been beaten twice by Rey. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's sad his mom's died. Carrie Fisher, R.I.P. But then anyway, he sees Han, and it's a fantastic scene. And he's grabbing his lightsaber, echoes of Force Awakens, and he says, what does he say? He says, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And Han walks up to him again, like he did, and he goes, like, you do, or something like that. And, perfect scene. He says, just gets teary-eyed, And he goes, Kylo Ren does, and he says, "Dad," and his voice cracks. And Han looks at him, once again echoing back to Empire Strikes Back, and he says, "I know." That's the the Leia Han moment in Empire Strikes Back. "I love you," and Han says, "I know." If you didn't catch that, I'm sure y'all did. I'm not a freaking genius, but yeah, it's fantastic scene. That part of that got me. I remember being in the theaters, being pissed off and watching this crap fest, and then all of a sudden I see this scene, I'm like, all right, you got me there. That's pretty good. Anyway, I'm sorry, I went off again. Video's almost over. Doomcock offers proof that this may be happening in a scene that was included in Rise of Skywalker, which featured Rey confronting her dark side self, where mirrors can be seen in the background. Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so back here. So, that's, give me Knights of the Old Republic. Give me something like that I can get into. The Skywalker story's been told. Would I like to see them fix it? Yes, absolutely I would. But I do think, whatever happened. Like, they jacked it up for us fans. I know we're all really passionate about the new, about the Skywalkers and Anakin and Luke and Leia, Han, all them. But the fact is that Leia's, she passed away, Carrie Fisher, and so it'd be hard to do this, to finish the saga, unless you try to say that she died somewhere, if you're retconning everything. Which I'm fine with. I love Leia. She was a cool character. But to tell you the truth, I'm just more interested into where Luke's story went, being Anakin's son and all. Leia, according to the EU and all that stuff, it doesn't seem like she ever really had a real interest in the Force. I know that some of the books did make her pretty powerful, which that's cool. Leia's an awesome character, but I've just always been more interested in Luke. I think Luke's story is awesome. So there's so much there to tell, him being an old Jedi Master and training a new bunch of Jedis, and you don't always have to go Jedi Sith. That's the thing that drives me crazy, is that if Anakin brought balance to the Force, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can bring up a bigger dilemma, something different, something that, I would say the best course of action for a new trilogy is make something that they haven't done. Okay, like Luke training new Jedi, great, and nobody falls to the dark side. Stay with me here. All his new pupils, that balance has been done, right? Let Anakin's sacrifice be, that's the balance of the Force. But what they could explain that makes your protagonist is all you have to do is have one of his Jedi apprentices or whatever, easy story is Luke sends them on some trial to be a Jedi type thing. They build their own lightsaber or something, and basically have one of the Jedi be like, it's a fantastic, it's a happy story. Halfway through the movie, it's, Luke training Jedi, doing his thing. And one of his main apprentices, hard for me to say, he's got an idea for what he wants for his lightsaber. And Luke, being the old Jedi that he is, that's got these, that's got access to the old Jedi manuscripts and books and blah, 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 says, well, the only place you can get that is on this planet, Boom, start his story from there. Show him going to this planet, let's say he's got his own droid, his own cool spaceship, X-Wing or whatever you want to call it. I don't think X-Wing, but give him his own ship, go there. That's your story, all right? Then he gets there, and same thing, man. You could have where he goes into a cave. The only place to find this crystal or whatever it is, or this type of metal he wants to use for his saber, is in some ancient thing, and then boom, set up something like Darth Revan. Set up something like that. Like he gets, I don't want to do the possessed thing. To me, that's stupid. But have that only thing be at the tomb of some ancient Sith Lord, or something that the Jedi didn't expect that could happen. And there's your story. That's it. Either you make that him be, I hate saying possessed by this, but have him wake up this ancient evil. Man, you want to do Darth Revan? Do Darth Revan. I'm freaking game. I'm excited about it, something like that. But that's your story. You don't always have to go back to Emperor Palpatine and Darth Maul's coming back. Nah, to me, set something up new. The Sisters of Dathomir, or give it to us, man. We're fans. We want it. So, want to thank you guys for watching the channel. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. This is the Me, Myself, and Tai Tai show. Tai Tai's not here at the moment. I'm at work on my day off, so that's why I'm doing this. Follow us, like us, if you guys want to see more of, me and Tyler talking about movies like this. Talk to us about it. Anyway, peace out, and stay frothy, my friends.